How are you, Cam?
Hi all, I'm Cam Greening from Fortude, based here in ANZ. As part of the Fortude broader enterprise capabilities, we look after Infor M3, Velocity Suite, and we've been serving clients in multiple countries across multiple industries for the better part of 15 years. Joining me is Dominic Feran. Dom's the ERP Manager at HamiltonJet. He's here to share how his team have been approaching AI in the Infor M3 world. We're looking at how they've been building AI agents for their business and what that would actually look like in practice. So today we're going to focus on probably one big question, and that is, we're hearing it from almost every Infor customer at the moment. How do we introduce AI, more importantly Agentic AI, in a way that's secure, practical, and delivers real business value? So today, hopefully we're going to answer that. Sure we will, from someone who's already done it. So Dom, great to have you here. And before we kick off, can you give us a little bit of context of HamiltonJet?
Sure. So the Hamilton family moved to Christchurch in the 50s. They started the Hamilton engineering business there. They were involved in heavy engineering up until the late 80s, and at that point they decided that water jets were their thing, and since then have produced only water jets. They are the largest manufacturer in the world. They're still owned by the Hamilton family and are firmly entrenched in Christchurch. We employ over 400 people, and the business is spread all over the world, customers from one end of the planet to the other.
It's an amazing story. I mean, such an iconic engineering company for New Zealand. As we were talking about earlier today, we were struggling to understand how many companies like this still exist in New Zealand. 80 years of legacy, innovation, and now growing at an incredible rate as well. Fantastic story. And I guess, that early reflection on that is that leveraging technology, staying ahead of that innovation led business. It's no surprise AI is a big part of the news story, so to speak, the new frontier.
Absolutely. 12 months ago there was very limited discussion about AI, and now we sit firmly embedded with it. We have a new suite of tools that make it very accessible. Mm-hmm. As a business, we've made it available to staff. We have a fortnightly forum to encourage AI use. We've embedded commercial products within the business, to allow us to develop tools, and we're ready to move on to the next step, which
You're well underway. Yeah, well underway. Hey, just thinking, before we talk a bit more detail around HamiltonJet's AI story, can we just have a look at the bigger picture in ANZ itself? Obviously AI is dominating conversations, has for quite some time, but I'm curious to get your perspective on how mature you think that adaptation is in New Zealand, what trends you're seeing, why do you believe AI within ERP tools like Infor M3 is generating so much interest, and what makes this different? Why is this different all of a sudden?
We're now seeing, the release of the AI app builders. These are tools now that let the layperson create quite sophisticated solutions. You don't have to be a coder or a programmer. And so you can develop these in a way that's never been achievable in the past. And so now that's surfacing, if we can get this information and we can build these tools, the next logical step is making changes, in your system of record, in your ERP. And M3 has some quite good processes. It has the REST APIs, so you can do this.
Yeah.
And so now there's some pressure to start leveraging that technology. AI as a whole is a hot topic. Most businesses are leveraging it in some form or another.
Yeah.
It is part of now, business as usual. It's nothing special, and we're getting some really good results. So yeah, it's a powerful thing.
Yeah. No, fantastic. And so for HamiltonJet, what was the catalyst for exploring Agentic AI? So was it business challenges, pain points, opportunity, all of the above? Why did you decide this was the right time?
So we'd invested in Infor Velocity Suite, primarily for process mining. And as part of the implementation, we decided we'd look at the Gen AI component of it. And once we'd had a look at how it was structured, so it leverages a combination of standard AI practices, machine learning, but it's built off standard M3 APIs. So that takes care of one of the most underlying critical factors, is how do you control access? And so now that you're leveraging standard M3 APIs and you can introduce role-based security, the whole agentic layer now suddenly becomes something that's possible. You don't have to build it outside M3, it's already there.
No, that's substantial. So just the key thing was you're not just trying to find a problem to solve, it's actually a tool to solve a problem. You're looking at what do we have to truly solve? Where does this fit? How are we gonna fix it? And then what brought it to life is what you discovered in that Velocity Suite.
Yeah. So we've always had this issue around, there's like an integration tax with your ERP. There's quite a technology gap.
Integration tax, love it.
Yeah, and so that becomes the challenge. Is you can run AI and external tools absolutely fine, but how do you push back into your ERP applications? It becomes a challenge. And you're left with another issue, which is the logic gap, and M3 is embedded with its own hierarchy of programs, of tools, and to replicate that externally is quite challenging. So that fits in with the move to Agentic and having some embedded tools, to give you some confidence in the fact that what you're viewing and what you want to change has been based on the same logic.
Yeah, which is critical. Yeah, you need predictable outcomes, trust that this is going to work the way you intend it to work. Yeah. But touching back in on that API and the security aspect, for a business like HamiltonJet, that must be so critical.
It is, and it's one of the things that we are currently completing. It's something we've left off the table for a while. We've been on the sort of MoveX, M3 on-prem, M3 cloud product for a very long time, but we controlled access through other means.
Yeah.
But now the reality is bitten that no, you need to do this. And once it's done, it's a tool for everyone. So it's not just a tool to control access in M3, it's a tool to control access outside of M3. So it becomes your one-stop shop, means you don't have to build anything out.
Yeah, terrific. And that kind of leads me into my next sort of question, and that is, can you walk us through the prototyping phase? Okay, you've got the tool, you've got the learnings underway. How did you get on with it? So what were you weighing up during that process? What were the non-negotiables, right?
So, for us being a bespoke engineering company, for us, it's our data, it's our IP.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, we have to make sure that we protect that at all costs. This is why we went to, closed AI solutions to make sure that our IP stays in-house and it's not out in the wild. We make sure that for developing our applications, we have a graded tier system. So once Snowflake Cortex became available, and we found that to be an exceptionally good tool for rapid development. We developed the bronze, silver, gold tier system.
Gotcha.
You know, and bronze allows people to develop a tool for themselves. It can have very low data quality, but at least it gives them a playground to go and test ideas. You know, and as they mature through to silver and gold, you know, you get more people involved, it comes under more scrutiny, and, you know, it has to pass certain criteria to become an enterprise solution.
Nice.
So, and that fits both within data quality and also, you know, the application itself for API access.
Got it. Okay, so just feeding that back a little bit, it was the Catalyst, Velocity, you got the toolkit. Now, how do you inspire the business and how do you take them on the journey? IP, got to protect the business. Data is king, especially with a engineering-centric business model. A huge amount of IP. But again, how do you inspire the business? So you've come up with your own structured approach to say, let's get everybody working and challenge them how to learn the tool by giving them a playpen. And then let's use it as a motivation layer to get to the silver by coming up with the ideas and saying, yes, this will go somewhere, there is a journey. Silver will be something that we are looking to validate and then productionize. And the things that really show promise, great value, end up in that gold layer.
Yes.
You know, we also run a fortnightly online forum run by the CIO, so people bring their AI solutions that they've made and showcase it, so people can get to see what types of things you can do. It's a forum to raise questions about how to do things.
Excellent.
And it's also about keeping, you know, tabs on what people are up to within the business as well.
There you go.
Again, it's a very powerful tool, and we're getting some amazing results by socialising it, creating a rapid application development process as well, so that you don't, you know, stifle creativity, and give people an easy in as well is critical.
Oh, that's really interesting, because seeing cycles already in the market with traditional larger, longer term type project thinking, let's spend 6 months to do something, seems to have gravitated away because the tools are changing so rapidly and the opportunity to add value is so much shorter. People are spending more time into those 6 to 12 week project cycles now and expecting to get outcomes and are getting outcomes. So it's kind of like the self-fulfilling cycles underway now, smarter, rapid, real outcomes, and Agentic seems to be driving that nicely.
Yes, absolutely.
Interesting. So knowing what you know now, always an interesting lead, isn't it? What's one thing you would have done differently? Yeah, I guess has anything become clearer in that hindsight?
Yeah, so it is the API security, you know, just setting up the roles, making sure that you have the right access levels. It's something we should have done a long time ago, and it's a lot of work to do within the M3 space. The advantage in doing it now is that we can use AI to help control AI API access. So again, it's a task that's being made easier with AI being around. Some of the other tools that have become quite useful is, you know, from my point of view, I can build a little MCP to help me manage M3. So it can, you know, query MDP, it can bring back the right structures within M3, and as a tool for managing M3, it's been very useful. It's much harder though to create an enterprise solution out of that, or from my point of view, it's impossible. You know, we're a business that's always very busy, and having the logistical space to be able to do some of this development just doesn't exist.
Yeah, so there's some real world challenges still to get the absolute maximum out of the tool as in its current state and time of what it is. Okay, but that hindsight thing, security, governance.
Yeah.
That's right. So we very early on tied down IP access. So that was one of the initial targets. Once we got that sorted, the rest became a bit easier. And then, API security for the Agentic component, it would have been a lot easier if we had that done earlier. So the company's itching to do some stuff, and we're the bottleneck at the moment.
Interesting. Hey, really good insight. From everything you've experienced, do you think organisations, what do you think they're underestimating the most?
Well, a variety of things. I think the actual capability of AI. If you are not actually putting some work into developing some solutions, you just don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
Velocity Suite showed us that. We've learnt more about the organisation in a very short period of time, and it's things you just don't even know that you're doing.
Interesting.
And it's the same with AI. It allows you to highlight opportunities, issues, risks that you never even were aware of.
So that's quite substantial when it's something you've really only changed in a very short time, but it's opened up a huge amount of learning. And through that learning, you've now been exposed to operational potential, business potential, growth potential in a way that a year ago may not have been possible, or probably wasn't, because the tools weren't there, weren't understood. So the way you're pitching that is you just got to get on with it. A little bit of faith, a little bit of guidance on the right tools, definitely have a framework, but it's there and it's doable and it's more powerful than most people realise.
Yeah, lock down your IP and create a framework for rapid development.
Gotcha. For me, just on that summary there, the biggest takeaways, as you pointed out, security, governance, do not underestimate the importance. Having, I think, really well governed information and a plan and the roadmap. I love the bronze, silver, gold, the gateways to outcome are perfect, and especially the way it's inspiring the buy-in from the business changes everything, right? So if you can inspire the business, you're fortunate to be in an engineering business where everyone's inspired. They're there for a purpose, and it's an incredible company. But you've brought it to life through a managed process. Fortude, we've also invested heavily in the Velocity Suite as part of our M3 story as well, and we can see the potential. But to hear that from a company that's actually leveraging it, learning from it, and seeing even more possibilities, it's a great story. Really looking forward to what the next 12, 24, 36 months looks like for that product, that space, and how we can bring even more potential to it. The MCP side of things, I know the Fortude team's been working on a scalable solution for the enterprise approach with that whole security and governance model, and I think we've got a pretty strong solution there, but like you, it's taken time for us to learn how to build that out in a way that is what we believe valuable. So love to share that story in the future. I'm sure there'll be opportunity to talk more about it. I think for organisations that are in this journey or thinking about the journey or are well into the journey, I think there's been a nice recap on what's possible, where it's up to, ideas on how to solve it that have worked for you, because let's be honest, people solve it in all sorts of ways and find their way to where they need to go to. But I think you've had a really nice, structured, easy to understand learning journey, and really it's been fantastic to hear your insights. So yeah, big thanks from me, Dom. It's been great to have this chance to share experience.
No, that's great. Thank you for inviting me along.
Absolutely. I know your Infor has an M3 user group coming up shortly.
Certainly, we do. We've recently reformed the user group. We were passionate about bringing access to all M3 customers. It's a great place to get together and learn about M3. We have a conference in September. The information's being sent out at the moment. It'd be great to see as many people come along to that. It is a special place that you can have a great time and learn far too much about Infor and M3 and all the capabilities. It's also an opportunity to meet people who are like-minded and trying to leverage more value out of the tool. It's certainly got a lot to offer.
Yeah, it's terrific. I've both been around long enough to enjoy user group sessions and understand what value you can get from them. I think the most rapid way to learn what's real, test your ideas, build your network well beyond just your day-to-day world that you live in. And I think IMUN, I know it kicked off again last year after a long sort of delay through the back end of COVID, so it was fantastic to see it reignited. I think it's a great session. Really looking forward to this year's one. I think it's going to be so much more to talk about, especially with these types of stories coming to life.
Absolutely.
So it should be a fantastic event.
Yeah, no, it's going to be pretty heavily AI focused.
Get the impression.
As you probably figured, yes.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we'll have this out prior and give people a bit of a taste. I'm sure you're going to be a busy man at the event.
I think so, yes.
Yeah, fantastic. Thanks so much, guys. Appreciate your time.
Thank you, Cam.